letting me grow. I'm growing as a person right now.
Where's my drill? I'm pulling teeth. I gotta go get my dentist.
No, this is good though, but it's kind of intimidating, but but it's good. It's good.
What's intimidating? Come on.
I guess just knowing you have a lot of followers. You definitely have a good group. It's just knowing that you're out there. Like, I don't do everything right, So I'm like, I just, oh, look at that.
This number 2. They had to come inside. They had to go pee.
Oh, fur babies. Yep.
So you're not really out there doing social media and all that crap.
I mean, I do a little bit. I'll like put some stuff, like posting, projects, but I really haven't hit the social media on video.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's the part that is like a little intimidating. You're so good at it that you're so natural.
Well, let me put this dog up.
Okay.
I'm to be honest with you, before I got into the real estate business, I've been an entertainer since I was in 6th grade,
So it comes naturally to you. Yeah.
Been an entertainer. But you know what's weird? I gotta tell you, for every interview you might see online, I probably asked 20 people.
Yeah. So kind of a common thing. It's like stage fright.
Whatever it is, it's just what it is, you gotta just deal with it. I'm like, I'll ask 20 people and one will be like, all right. I'm like, don't you? Well, the thing is, either you're on board or like for you, I had a little leverage,
We can talk about that leverage. That's good. No, that's great.
I had to blackmail Lori.
It worked though. Look, I'm out there.
How do you like my title for you?
The Momvestor. I like it. Well, that's what I do it for. You do it for the kids. So
I can't wait to hear the story, class. Welcome, class. Welcome. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to log in before we get rocking and rolling. This is so nice to be able to hang out with Lori Eubanks. Where are you today? What state or city are you in?
Yep, I'm in Richmond. I'm at home, Richmond, Virginia, enjoying the day. It's beautiful. First day without rain in like 2 weeks.
It's been something, isn't it?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
How has it affected your renovation and construction sites?
Yeah, everyone's backed up. All the people are trying to catch up on windows, roofs, everything. Just put everything back. But it's great. It's great. We're getting together right before spring market. I mean, I'm already seeing a pickup here. How about down there?
Yeah, well, it's been a week since, everybody buying. Even I have some tenants that are truck drivers. They haven't driven trucks. Nobody's worked in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It rained all day and all night.
Yeah, I'm happy to see the sun. Everyone's outside.
Yeah.
If you're working from home, you can just check out and get out there.
Lori Eubanks, yes, this is a wonderful day. Class, thank you for joining me. This is Chris Haskins, realestateroundup.com, where my mission statement, my ministry, raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship today. Today, I've got real estate Momvestor Lori Eubanks with me today. Good morning, Lori. Good morning.
Good morning.
So if I want to kind of get a little bit of your backstory, if you will, because I think when we first met, you were transitioning from working to being an investor. Would you mind if we could maybe start there, class, and at the end of our training today, we're going to do some Q&A. I always like to do that. You can ask Lori questions, me questions about the business, and see how we can help you. Lori, what up?
Yeah, so we met last year. I had just made the transition. I might have been just going through it, but it was March of last year. And I had been investing on the side, working full time, raising kids, and it was just crazy, just too much. But I would invest on the side. I'd do a couple flips here and there, and I would get some rental properties. And then I finally had enough cash flow to replace my income. And then at that point, I thought, okay, well, now that I have the cash flow up, I could quit flipping if I wanted to. But now that the cash flow is replacing it, I could now step out. So it was, it was scary. I had great benefits. I had a good job, but,
Wow.
finally had that cash flow up to make it. And just so thankful I did. So quit, and then within 2 weeks of leaving my job, I got an owner finance portfolio. And that one deal was like 8 properties. That one deal replaced my whole income just in that one deal with the cash flow. So I'd been waiting like 6 or 7 years of investing on the side and waiting. And then I finally leave. And within 2 weeks, I landed an owner finance portfolio, which it's just crazy how that I'm like, I should have left earlier, but
Maybe the deal would have came earlier if you left earlier.
That's right. That's right. But I was focused. I was fully invested in just real estate and raising the kids. It was just so refreshing to have that one thing to focus on. So I think that's what did it, is just the drive and meeting people, putting the word out there that you're buying. And for me, those were rental properties. So you buy it day one, as long as they're paying rent, you're cash flowing. And so that's what I liked. You can buy 8 properties and not feel it like, when you buy a flip, you're buying it and you're putting everybody to work as fast as you can. Where rental property is, it's just, you could buy a whole portfolio and, just, introducing yourself is a task, but it's very different, buying a portfolio versus buying just one flip. So I've really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to stay there for a second, but I would like to know more about your mindset as you're transitioning, because I hear you talk about cash flow and people don't really understand how important that is. Everybody thinks they watch HGTV and they see people making these big checks, and it's like you and I kind of have a taste for it, but just tell me about your thoughts about that.
Yeah. So cash flow, in my world is more of a passive job. It's still a job if you're managing the property. But if you are renting to good people, people that have integrity, they have, steady income, and I rent to a lot of military in your area. And just people at a different, you're not going to trust everybody, but you want to be able to screen them and know that they can pay their bills.
Yeah.
So as long as you're keeping your property up and then you're renting to good people, you should have a profit after you pay your mortgage and taxes. So we have a goal. So we, 300 per month is the minimum that we try to stay towards, and we're consistent in buying, that criteria, and then some equity. So we're buying right, and then you get a few rental properties, and once you replace your income, you have 40 hours back. If you're working a full-time job, 40 hours come back.
That is so cool, Lori. I'm so happy for you.
It
I
is
mean, there's so many people. That's why I wanted to get you on camera. I'm like, I feel like your story is like a beam of light for people that are working full time, and it can be done. You did it with a family, and I'm like, so many questions I want to ask you. Tell me about just the mindset as you're building, going on and on. This is the society we're in now. Everybody wants it like that.
Mhm. That's right.
So how did you get started? Where did this plan start to get you out of, I guess, corporate America per se?
Well, I've been working on it for quite a while, but it started in 2012, and jumped on a property that was in my neighborhood. But really, backing up before that, jumping into the idea of investing was because we lost my income in the family. And so it was like, oh my goodness, I have a mortgage, I have 3 kids, I got bills to pay. And so, relying on, one income or even relying on 2 incomes is just really not enough. You got to expand your mind and see what else is out there. So, started on the search. I found a property in my area, and they were asking 60 grand. It was like, to me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I could do it. I'll put in an offer for 30, we'll see if they take it. And I got the call. They wouldn't take 30, but they would take 35.
That's not bad.
I thought, oh my gosh, like, oh no, like I'm gonna
Showtime.
do this. So
Showtime, right?
say no to that. So it was one of those situations where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna flip it, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna, then I realized like, oh, it's a full gut. This has got termites, the ceiling joists, and it was
You didn't
terrible.
go inside of that one before you made the offer?
I did, but I didn't see all the things that were really, underneath the walls. So when you're like, I'm going to open this one wall, and you're like, whoa, I shouldn't have opened the wall.
To love it alone.
It was bad. I hired the wrong contractor. So it was just like that roller coaster. You're like, the real estate roller coaster is real. And so it's so important that you have people around you that are, encouraging you. Because, there are times when you're in something like that, your first time is just, I wouldn't recommend a deal like that, your first deal, but that's what we did. It was like education. So at the end of the deal, I think I was all in about 100 at that point. And
Oh my Lord, you bought it for 35 and you spent 60.
that's right. It was like a full gut, and it was only a little rancher. So, I really made a lot of mistakes. And then when I was done with it, my agent said, we can list it for 150, or, you've had it for, 9 months. It took me a while. So you've had it for 9 months. Why don't you just refinance? You have a great job. Just see if the bank will refi, your family member that had loaned me the money. And I cash flowed. It was about 5 to 550 a month. So 500 a month. And so I ended up refinancing and holding it. And that's when I learned that if I had sold it that year, I would have made, maybe 30 grand after agent fees and maybe closing costs and,
Maybe. If you sold it for the top value.
Yeah, right. Well, I just sold this house last year for 190.
The same house?
Same house. I finally sold it, but I've been renting it for 5 years. So 500 for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Plus, I made 40 grand more than I thought I was going to make. So I really made, double holding it, plus, long-term capital gains. So that was kind of like, okay, well, I need to work. You don't have to work hard and flip. You can be smart about it and hold cash flow. And so I really saw the value, but, I didn't learn that lesson all right away. I started kept flipping a little bit here and there, and then picking up a rental as I could, since my income, showed some cash flow. So it was really a steady buildup until I believe 2015. I found an older gentleman. He was liquidating his whole rental portfolio. And I asked for
Is it here or up there?
this is up here. So this is about 2015. So 4 years ago is when I really grew, because he said, yeah, I'd consider owner financing. He hadn't thought about it. And so he gave me his whole list, and he said, pick out the 10 that you like. I'll finance you up to 10. And I thought, I don't have to find all the money to buy it. Like, wow. So that's
for our viewers that don't know, let's stay there for a second. For our viewers that don't have a clue what owner financing is, and maybe for viewers that need to be reminded from time to time, what is owner financing, Lori?
Yep. So the owner, the seller, is, most of them don't have a lien on it. Some do, but they, instead of selling it and getting cash outright, they will be the bank for you. So they will actually put a note, and they are now the mortgage on the property, but everything is put in your name. So tax advantages, all of that, it's fully in your name. So we worked out a deal. I paid the owner 7% interest only. And so that allowed me to cash flow more. And those 10 properties, after 2 years, they all went up crazy in Richmond, all around Northside. So like the same property I bought 4 years ago for 100 grand, owner financed, is selling for 300 this year.
How much?
So 300 in some areas of Richmond. So that's how much it's appreciated. So some of these properties are, older Richmond homes. They're over 100 years old, and they're sought out now. And it's taken a chunk to rehab them, but as renters move, you can decide, do I want to keep renting it and just cash flow and wait longer, or should I, sell one here and there? So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm buying them, I'm cash flowing, but I'm always reevaluating. And so that's really planned out. It's really played out really well. And now I'm going to be, talking to my renters and seeing if they want to start buying some of my properties, because they've seen several landlords and gone through several sales, but nobody's asked them, would you like to buy the property? And some of them
Nice.
have been there, years.
Nice.
So, right now that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be strategic, look what I have, and, make the most of it.
Yeah, man, it's always good, in my opinion, to turn tenants into owners. I mean, it's just everybody wins.
Everybody wins, and that's really what we're doing. I'm looking to owners, that have rental portfolios, working with them and saying, how can we make this a win-win? They don't want the capital gains hit on 10 properties sold.
No.
I mean, that's a huge hit. Well, why don't we work out, owner financing? You're not paying the capital gains, only on the money that you made if you're putting money down. And then, how about we plan it over the next 10 years? You're helping that landlord estate plan. So it's just been a win-win. And that same owner last year gave me 8 more properties. It was his last bit of his eight property portfolio. So he went down to, I think he had 40, 50, years ago. And then this was he was like, I'm done being a landlord. And I had refinanced him out of the first 10, 2 years in. And so he's like, I'll give you 8 more.
Wow.
That was
So,
it.
wow. Lori, this is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable deal.
So that one owner gave me, I think over the last, so that was 2015, over the last 4 years, he's given me 19 properties owner financed.
Wow, that's a smoking deal. No doubt he loves you. He kisses the ground you walk on because you're making the payments and you have no issues with the money rolling into him.
That's right. So and we're a team, he's not charging me some crazy amount of interest. It's 7%. We're both happy with it. And, I paid more than what, somebody coming in making a cash offer was going to pay. He still gave me equity at the time, but not nearly as much as what a cash offer would have been, a lot lower than mine. So,
Wow.
now when I make offers, just like us doing business together on our deal, I'll try to make a cash offer and then an owner financing offer. And you and I did the offer. We decided to do a lease purchase, so we didn't even have to go to the closing table. And I mean,
Yeah.
how great was that?
I remember you were nervous about your boy. You was nervous about, who is this Chris Haskins
I
character?
did. I was nervous. When you do things like that, you do want to, do a check. And so, yeah, I did. I made sure I called around, and we did all the stuff like, doing the title search and all the steps. But it was really cool because, we got to go back and forth, and it was a win-win. I still feel really good about that deal. I didn't tell you this, but your deal was my brother's first deal. So,
What do you mean?
so Scott, my younger brother down in
He's
Hampton,
here.
he's there, and so I've been training him to take over the rehabs down there. And so Walnut was his first project, which wow,
Oh my
first
Lord.
project I threw him into a.
Oh my. Was he pulling his hair out on that one?
We still speak. He's doing great. No, he's doing great. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride, just like my first deal. So I call it education. Some mistakes were done. We had the margin, and I'm happy with it. And it was a great process for him. And since then, he's actually worked on, I believe, 3 other projects now. So,
So cool.
it's really cool to make money, but when you're like helping your family grow, that's like, there's just no other feeling. So yeah, and now he's working on his first project on his own. So he just got his own project. So I mean, now he's gonna be probably like jumping in, full feet in. So I'm just excited to, inspire someone in the family, bring them to the dark side. The dark side, because people will scare you when you have an idea about leaving your job and you have a dream. you want to believe in that dream, but some people are going to be scared for you and may discourage that. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to have support in the family,
It is a tough one, man. I can only, I mean, we'll see. I was thinking about as I was planning for our talk today. For me, they just threw me in it. I got fired so many times. Wasn't like I had the option, But
Yeah.
I think it's hard. Well, let me ask you. It's got to be mentally more challenging to separate yourself as opposed to somebody just kicking you out.
Yeah. Well, you mean like throwing you into the job?
No, I mean when you chose to walk away from.
That's right. That's right. So I did have the choice, and you're right. It's still the sink or swim feeling, but for me, I had the cash flow, so I had a cushion. It is a different feeling when you're let go, when you're jumping in. So, I'm not saying there's probably pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Um, but if you have the option, you might as well build up your rental portfolio. And, one deal of 10 properties could potentially replace your income, depending on what you're going for. So, I have to look at the portfolio liquidation side has really been the biggest impact on my growth. And you're helping, it's generational wealth. They're passing it down to you. How cool to work with somebody on that. It's a win-win. So it's been great. Yeah.
I foresee myself. That's going to be me when I get older. I'm going to find me a Lori Eubanks to just like here, take all this stuff.
It's really great. I mean, I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned stuff by doing deals with other investors. The older landlord, he may have some tricks up his sleeve that I don't know about. So it's really great just working with experienced people, and that's how I've always learned, through experience and through doing the deal.
Nice. So let's talk about our deal, Lori. I'm getting, I do coaching and training, but I'm moreover, most people when they think about lease options, they are thinking about the traditional owner occupant challenge credit, where they were collecting a down payment, they're moving into it, working for their equity and feeling warm and fuzzy living in the house.
That's right.
Traditionally, that's what we're talking about, but I love it when we can think outside the box and make these same strategies work for investors also.
Yeah.
So when you and I got together, do you want to go ahead and break it down, start it off, or?
Yeah. So I believe Ryan found you on Craigslist, and you were advertising a lease option, rent to own, with a down payment. And so I don't know if it was, I think Ryan found it on Craigslist. And, for your audience, Ryan is like my traveling wholesaler. So he's, living the dream. So I think at the time he was somewhere in the RV.
Yeah, he was in, where was he at?
I think
he was in Arizona.
Yeah, Tijuana or Arizona, or like, who knows what week. It depends on what week it was. And he was traveling the whole United States throughout the whole year. And he was on his laptop looking up deals for me. So he was a wholesaler and then became a licensed agent.
Okay.
So we had been doing deals for the last few years. So he found your deal, and he sent it to me and said, hey, we should make an offer on the lease option. Maybe you can flip it on the lease option. So we started looking into it, and I think we made you a cash offer as well. I can't remember, but I know that we talked about the lease option, and the deal.
I didn't want any cash. I can't use any cash for that house. I was like, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. So it was a good deal for you. I can't remember what you bought it for, but I think we got it under contract for 58.
58 sounds right.
Yeah, we put $3,000 down for the option to buy it at 58,000. And so we did the title search, we did all of that, and then we had a lease agreement between us that I would pay you $650 a month. And then I had the option to resell it, the option to do what I wanted. And then you gave me, I believe it was a year to do the deal. And so it was a full project for, I'll never forget, Scott called me because I'm like, we got this first deal, Scott. And, I'm throwing him in there, and he's like taking up the carpet, and he's like, I don't think the slab is level. He's like, I think Yeah, I mean, it was just so many layers. And so we had to do some foundation work. So it was like a pretty big project for your first one. And I think
Yeah.
it was great. So, we worked together on that. It was a lot of educational, process for him. And it was it's now a great house. But that was our agreement, and it's been great because I didn't have to go to the closing table. I didn't
Yeah.
have to spend money on closing costs. We did a title search, but that was like $100 and something dollars.
You
Um,
did a title search because you wanted to do a title search, though. It wasn't mandatory.
we didn't know each other. We were just, we had met you from Craigslist. So
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do.
I think it's the right thing to do, but like if we did it today, maybe it would be different. But I just think that it's a great way to be able to like, here's our fixed price. I'll put in the money for rehab and anything over, that person would make. And I think it's a great win-win because, you're making money on the lease end. You're going to make money when we sell it because you're going to be paid off, the rest of the 55. I mean, it's just what a great situation.
You know what? I'm just, as you're talking, I'm thinking, why don't I just leave when you sell it? Why don't I just create a note and I just have the Lori money, and I just leave that to the side, and we'll just move that to your next house and finance the acquisition? Maybe, I don't know.
That'd be great. So yeah, moving the financing. That's great. I
Maybe
mean,
I'm just, huh?
yeah, we could find another one.
I'm
Just
just thinking, just talking. Just
yeah,
as I hear you talk, I'm like, man, shit, I might as well just.
you
You
might
said something happened today though. Was it today or yesterday?
what about
With
uh,
that one,
with
you
that
said,
one? Yeah, so all of a sudden, we've had on the market and it's been, a little stale. It's through the winter. So, things weren't moving. And then all of a sudden we get two offers out of nowhere. We get the
wow,
cash offer and then we got, the traditional financing offer. And everything's going great. We're countering back. I think we're in like the 120 range, 123 or so. And the young couple brings their parents to the house to show them the house, and they're excited about it. And I don't know what happened, but I hear that there was an incident. There was a fight. I don't know what happened. It was like a lover's quarrel, or like the parents didn't agree. I don't know.
oh Lord,
But unfortunately, they did rescind the financing offer. So the good thing is like the market's just picking up like crazy. And we actually got the house virtually staged the other week.
nice,
Virtual staging is just really interesting because you're paying for them to drag and drop furniture in your photo, so you're not paying for the furniture, the rental, and the cost is like $150 versus $2,000 for staging. And it doesn't have the same impact, but it does bring a lot of traffic. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited. When we get that house sold, the deal that my brother have, we're actually have a profit split on that deal. So
nice.
like not only did he learn a lot, but he's also getting a piece of that pie. So
So
yeah.
the staging is on the pictures when you have it on the internet.
Yeah, so they're actually a professional photography company. So they can come out and take the pictures and then they insert the furniture into the picture digitally. So when you see it, I mean, it looks great, but like some of the pictures doesn't look 100% real. So I'll put in there, houses virtually staged. So they're not expecting the furniture when they get there, but it looks so great. It does bring traffic. So we tried that on a couple properties and had some good outcomes. So we're trying it on Walnut. I really
Nice.
thought it would sell quickly,
Me
at
too.
130.
Me too.
Um, yeah, now with the market changing and it being fully rehabbed, I mean, it should fly. So I'm just so thankful for that deal.
Yeah.
It's been really good and great when you don't even have to buy the property.
You know, so you did a flip. That just so I want my viewers, because my skill is to be able to break it down so it's chewable, so you
Okay,
can swallow it. All right. So just so I can rewind a little bit, we did a lease option with Lori.
that's right.
We sold her the property on a lease purchase. She put a down payment down, just like she was going to be moving in it, just like any other owner occupant buyer.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't move into it, but she did use that use that financing to acquire the property, and she paid for her own renovation. So what is your rental end up being, Lori?
I believe we're all in right now for, I believe, 85 to 90 with the holding cost.
Okay, nice.
So, we'd be happy if we're selling for, one in the 120s, and it's a slim deal. We didn't see foundation issues, but it's really, I look at it that, I just financed my brother's education. We made it profitable,
Nice.
and we could buy it, pay you off, and keep it as a rental and cash flow it. But, that'd probably be a smart thing to do. But it's like, at this point, we'll sell it, we'll celebrate, and we'll move on. Yeah.
The thing is moving on. At the end of the day, I tell people all the time, listen, move on. Just move on. You may not, I've lost tens of thousands on houses, Lori, but I moved on, I got it done, and then you move on to the next one.
Yeah. And I think, that was my brother's first deal to make profit, to actually
That's a plus.
To learn. I mean, that's amazing. And so, so that set it off. That was a great property for us to work on.
That's a plus to make money on your first one. I mean, you're learning. You don't know nothing. And I wanted to segue into managing contractors, Lori. How do you manage these people from Richmond and you 70 miles away?
That's right. Yeah. So we do a lot down there. And I'm in Portsmouth. I'm in Newport News, Hampton.
Wow.
I'm over there. So my brother, that was the whole reason for my brother getting in this business, is because, I started buying down there. I have projects going on, and, if you're subbing work, you need to be there to check on them.
Yeah, I'm right.
Have some eyes. You need to, just, even if you trust that contractor, you just need to see it, because he might sub it and maybe he doesn't check on it. You just don't know. So I got my brother involved, and I think, he had just had a baby. And so I think,
my goodness,
I want to be a stay-at-home dad, and so that's what he did. He decided to be a stay-at-home dad with his newborn and start helping me in real estate. So, what a great way for him to grow. Yeah. So it's been really great. Just that whole learning process.
So is he hiring people? He's hiring and firing. Does he do work too, or he's more like private management with you?
So he's handy. So he did do some work on our walnut deal, but, and I paid him hourly for that. So he made money, but he quickly learns, like, oh, I can manage 3 properties and doing the work. So he went through that whole learning curve, because, you got to learn that for yourself.
Yeah.
You can make $500 framing right now, or you can just hire a bunch of people and do more deals and make more profit share. Nice. And that was, so he did some work on it. And then now, we're on our 4th deal in Hampton. So while we didn't make as much money on walnut, on our deal as we like, he's pulling in bigger profit splits. And, we were talking this morning, he's like, I don't think you know this, Lori, but our 4 sales will generate more than $100,000 of profit for you. And I'm getting, this portion split. And I'm like, wow, we win-win. Wow. Plus he got his own deal. His own deal will make him about 40 himself.
Nice.
And we just started talking about it, and he's like, what a difference. Now he's going to have a second baby. They're like, he just 1 year apart. Exactly.
Wow.
About to have his hands full. And so, I mean, how amazing that you can actually take care of your family and not worry about just running to work 9 to 5. Because having 4 kids, we're about to all be in soccer. Can you imagine 3 kids? Well, it'd be 3 kids, 3 out of 4 in soccer. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
How am I going to hold this down? So
real soccer mom.
Yeah, I mean, the struggle is real. Soccer hits, it's like, clear the schedule. So,
wow.
It's about to get crazy. But I mean, the nice thing, if you have cash flow, and we flip a lot, but the cash flow part, I know I can step away and let that run.
Cash flow.
Cash flow. That's right.
I didn't understand that. I used to hear the old boys talk about it when I was getting in. I'm a young guy thinking, I'm like, man, I can ready to get these big checks. That's what I'm looking for. But now I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I don't care about those big, I'm looking for, because life happens monthly. It doesn't happen all at once.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, it feels so good to know I need 3 rental properties to pay my mortgage.
Nice.
So I mean, just get 3 rental properties. I mean,
That is
it's
so
really
neat.
that simple when you look at it. You're getting tax advantages. I mean, you do need to be sure that you do have money on the side for, of course, repairs. You don't
Yep.
want to be a broke landlord and then get in a financial problem. So you got to be smart about it. So we do flip to get our, money up and reinvest it in rentals. It's been a really good process.
That is cool. Sound like you got I guess Gary Vee would call it a jab, jab, jab hook. You got your cash flows going with it's not as big, but then you got your right hooks for your flips that come in.
That's right. That's right. And we're trying the owner financing, the rates will be higher. So, 7%. And then, you work with that, owner finance and you ask them, hey, I think I can refinance you out at a 5% bank loan and, see if that works for them. So that's what I'm working on now. Done a few
Nice.
portfolio loans, paid off the sellers that financed me. And, then maybe there'll be a private lender down the road,
You can turn that. Yeah. Wow.
So you keep those relationships, keep them strong.
You could turn them into. You could just cash them out, and literally, I could see them giving you the money right back because they don't really want the cash. They want the cash flow, the income, right?
That's right. So you could really form a relationship with one guy within your portfolio and really work with them, for the next few years. I mean, however long you want, because they're liquidating because they don't want their family to inherit 50 properties.
They
And
can't handle it.
the family member is going to sell it at a discount. They're not going to know what to do with it.
They can sell it right. Wow. You can say that again. So say that again about the mentality of the people that give you the seller financing, Lord.
Yeah, so they're thinking, how can I get my price? I've worked hard. I've worked hard on this portfolio. Some of them have been working on it for 30, 50 years, building it. If I die, what's going to happen? Will it be sold at a discount tomorrow? They're not going to know how to manage it. So it's like, it's really not a benefit. They're getting something valuable, but do they know what to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
So the great thing is that when you give them owner financing, you're giving them a good price that they're agreeing to. They're typically setting up a trust. So if they do pass away, I'm going to keep making my payments, and that's going to go through the trust. So, when I first meet someone that is liquidating, that's the first thing I say is like, talk to your attorney, talk to your accountant, figure out a way that this can set you up for the next 10 years. Really use it for estate planning. And, the seller finance guy that gave me, 19 properties in the last few years, he said, use me as a reference. If you're talking to older investors that are liquidating, give my name out. If they're thinking about owner financing, I'll be happy to share why I did it and tell them the pros and cons and the process he went through.
So cool.
That's so cool.
That is. I'm like, that's one of the ones where you read in a book.
Yeah, and it's funny because like all you have to do is ask. Have you thought about owner financing? It's like you don't know if you don't ask. So now, if I'm talking to someone that is selling and it's it's not like a foreclosure and it's the seller, why not ask for owner financing? If you're going to put an offer in anyways, just put in 2 offers.
Yep. I've done it many times. You know what, man? I wish one day I would like to talk about something called substitution of collateral. Are you familiar with that?
Is that where you move the financing to another property?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that. I have not done that, but I've heard that it's really been, a blessing to them and their growth.
Nice. We won't get into it. I wanted to teach it one day, but I just don't want to be, I don't want it to go over people's heads.
Yeah, just the idea of it, I think, just knowing that it's out there. And then if you have that tool, yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Is it just a clause in the contract?
It's just 2 little clauses in your deed of trust and your promissory note.
Yeah.
I remember when my mentor taught me this joint. I'm driving my car. I'm like, you can move I'm like almost crashing, Lord, because I never thought of
Yeah. That's how, it's so interesting. And that's why it's like, it all goes back to your network. Like, I'm around the right people. We're throwing different ideas, and maybe I don't need that idea right now, but
Yeah.
I know I can call them and pick their brain, and we're helping each other grow. So it's been amazing.
Well, I think you have such having the estrogen. There's so much testosterone in this business. Well, even when you pick the phone up, people no doubt are more than happy to talk to you about real estate because we always get duped. All the guys are just always in our ears.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I've definitely been to like the cigar bar with a bunch of guys, and it's, me hanging out, and I'm like contemplating, should I try one or should I just hang out, or maybe, maybe I'll get the hookah. I don't know. But it's really funny. Like, even my banker, going to the round table, it's like these guys in suits, and they're at this round table. There's four of them, and I'm coming in my yoga pants and
Oh
my
my
dark
Lord.
coffee. So, I mean, it's really funny because I think about it and I'm like, I'm not that professional. I'm very down to earth, but you know what? It works. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be, 100%. Like, you just got to make sure that you're doing good business, good people at the right deals, and it should all come together.
Nice. Let's get to some Q&A. I got two more things and we'll get to some Q&A. Is that okay? Oh, I want to know about for my viewers that want to understand owner financing, what type of qualifications did your seller put on you, if any? Because I know most people think that when they hear financing, they think tax returns, bank statements, credit report, gotta have a down payment. I need to make sure I've got no issues on my credit, no judgments, none of that crap. Tell us about the ease or the lack of ease doing seller financing, Lori.
Yeah, it's really interesting. There wasn't any kind of credit check. He may
Okay.
have done a background check, but I'm not aware. So there wasn't any kind of check. It was really just like me telling them my intention. I think it's really just getting to know them and just being upfront about what you're trying to do. For me, it was, I want cash flow. I'll hold this 7% if you want me to for 5 years. And he's like, if we get to 5 years, I might extend it 5 more years.
Yeah.
So it was like us coming together and talking it out. It's really interesting that we didn't go through any of the traditional paperwork. We made sure the qualification is, I'm going to keep you, you're going to be first on the property, and I'm going to keep the taxes up. I'm going to keep insurance up. He's listed as the lien, the mortgage on the insurance. And that's really it. So it's a lot easier than going through a bank. That's for
So
sure.
you didn't have to turn in your credit report.
I did not. No.
How about tax returns?
No, didn't do tax returns.
Bank statements?
No, none of that.
How about a loan application?
No, none of that. He did ask for 10% down.
Okay.
So I think I put down maybe $1,000 on earnest money, which is
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then 10% of the deal. So my first deal of 10 properties, I think it was like 70 something thousand. And so I ended up borrowing that from someone on a promissory note, and then, put it down on the owner financing. And so I just use that as an expense,
Wow.
that lien, that portion, you just got to calculate it all and make sure it's going to cash flow.
So you got notes. So you're nothing down.
No, I didn't have it. I mean, I like, that's 10 properties. I mean, I didn't have, 80,000 because I didn't want to put all my money down. If I put all my money down, what if I need 10 roofs tomorrow?
Yeah.
So, I've had a really good banker throughout the years, and he taught me the importance. You've got to be liquid. So if you are using all your money, you need to make sure you have X amount in the account based on your portfolio size.
Nice.
And so, every time we did a bank transaction, we would look at my whole deal and he would evaluate it. So you're always asking for advice. Where do you think I should be right now? And then just start, following their advice.
Wow. So you got a loan, owner financing, and you got a loan for the down payment.
That's right. So they're not asking you like, hey, Chris, where's the money coming from? They just want to see that the money's coming. They want to make sure you're invested. And I mean, as long as, you're doing the right thing. And if you have a track record, now I can say I've I've paid off quite a few people since 2012.
Yeah.
You know, my track record's strong. I've never had a foreclosure. You know, people are going to want to do business with someone that's going to do what they
You're
say.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Nice. Class, you're hearing it. My real estate Momvestor is finally here after 1 year of begging and prodding and pleading, and I had her head in the under here. I'm trying to get it on the camera. I got her today.
Got me. He got me.
All right, so class, let's do some Q&A. If you don't mind, please smash the like button there and the thumbs up for our optimization purposes. Let's see what we are talking about in class today. Maybe I can, if we have enough time, I'll maybe show some before and after pictures because you did a phenomenal job on that house.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will say the bus lets out at 2:50.
The what?
Like that. But the bus, so you're going to hear the kids come in.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Let's see here. We got informed, similar. Please hit the thumbs up. Yes. Hey, Daniel. T-Real just landed one this week. Fully invested. Thank you, Chris. I've learned a lot. Oh, yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You got rental property. Thank God. As I get older, Lori, I'm just like, I'm looking around, I'm doing research, and I think that it's between 8 and 15% people own real estate other than their personal house. 8 to 15% of the entire country. You know, I just want to get that number up. You know, I feel like my mission is to get more people not depending on the system, if you will, as we get older.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just really been a blessing. I mean, I think about it and like my kids want me to go to their field trip, or I mean, just think about all that stuff that you're missing.
Wow.
I mean, freedom. And so recently I've got an assistant because I mean, I want to keep growing, but I don't want to, you know, I need to stay organized. I need to stay on certain things. So as you grow, you know, get the people, the right people in the right places.
You got that right. You can't do everything. I tell you, man, I don't wash clothes anymore, not because it's good or bad, but we get the clothes washed. We have a housekeeper. Just because time, Lori. I mean, you only have so much time in a day to do stuff. And with you, I mean, do you have a property management company too?
I don't know. I'm not a licensed agent. I'm managing my own property, all but a few of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So I recently got someone to help me with that, and I'm training her. And so as we buy more, you know, she's learning. She's quickly learning. She's listed some properties for me. She's starting to screen applicants, you know, and then, you know, think about all the stuff you need help with in the flips. Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Class, please get your questions in. Get your preguntas. I got to kick that Spanish for you. Boy, I do have a little Spanish background, but not much. Class, thank you for joining us today. I've got Lori Eubanks out of Richmond, Virginia. Real estate Momvestor. Angela, you got to turn HGTV off. Yeah, that crap is fake. They don't even, the people you see, they're models. They're going into somebody else. They are going into somebody else's house, narrating another investor's flip, you know, because they approach me with the same crap. They want you to narrate the flips. I was talking to Angela, Lori. She says she wants to cut HGTV off.
Yeah. I don't even have cable. I mean, we cut cable about a year ago, and it's like Netflix and Hulu and all the other stuff. But you know, we cut that a long time ago. We pay like $30 for internet.
You don't even need it anymore.
That's another thing. Like, you know, I see a lot of people. Yeah, I need that. I see a lot of people that become really successful, and you know, they start spending money. I mean, you gotta still keep. Like, it's, of course, treat yourself. But I mean, I'm still very frugal. You know, when I'm buying materials, when I'm, you know, saving on utilities, I mean, I get excited.
Yeah.
You really can't lose that sight.
You better not, man. You know what? I want, as I look around the people that I know and knew over the time, without exception, they went kind of like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And without exception, all of them kind of had a big fall, you know? And in my opinion, it's like when you grow steady like that, it kind of makes you have adversity as you're growing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great. The kids are in the snacks.
It's cool. I don't know. Daniel, military, some of the best. Oh, yeah. Hey, Daniel. Some of the best ones to work with. Nate, Harrisonburg, Pennsylvania, have a meeting with a seller tonight. Good for you. Good for you. Any tips for tonight, Nate? I don't know what type of seller you're talking to. I mean, I don't know. Is it a pre-foreclosure? Is it a inherited property listed? I don't know. T. Real said he's getting owner financing. Daniel actually came by. He grew up on Walnut. He's telling me this
Oh,
guy
wow.
grew up on Walnut Street, Lori.
He might want to buy it.
You know what? I think he moved to South Carolina. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's a cute little neighborhood. And they're building new construction now in the neighborhood. I saw that like a few doors down. So, but that whole area I think is expanding.
Yeah, Fox Hill's fine. I mean, you can't lose in Fox Hill, you know. And they have Harris Teeter's coming, Lori.
I mean, you really can't lose. And you think about it and you're like, you have a fully renovated house. I mean, that's worth a lot down there. You have a lot of military coming in and out. You could do short-term rental. I mean, I have a plan B. And I think that's important when you're doing deals. If you have multiple exit strategies, it helps you sleep at night, doesn't it?
You mean getting out of them? Either you keep it or sell it. You mean?
Yeah, I mean, I could rent it. I could do Airbnb down there. I mean, the market is just awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're killing it with Airbnb.
if you didn't sell this property or if we didn't sell it, there's so many other exit strategies. And so I really like doing deals where, I feel confident on the sale, but also when we have so many options.
Yeah, the Airbnb is just, dude, it is unbelievable, man. I mean, we booked 21 days this month.
Wow. So I wasn't good at it. I remember getting messages about where my coffee filters were. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what filters?
What?
But, I wasn't good at it. But I mean, I didn't hire it out. I didn't delegate it. So, every part of real estate is so different. It's just nice. You can try it. If you don't like it, that's okay. You have other options for that property. But I did try Airbnb on a lease purchase. And
You're the one that told me about it when we met that day. That's the reason I kind of got into it.
really? Well, it worked out, but it was just too much work for me. So, I mean, it was like, where's, they wanted certain shampoo or like just very, like, the reviews at it. So I decided it took too much time for me. I just didn't delegate it outright. So I thought, what I know.
I was gonna say you weren't doing the cleaning, no doubt. I mean, you're not doing all that stuff.
All that stuff, but I'm no longer in air. The managing side, I actually had a situation where I had to the property while I had a guest renting.
Oh,
And like they came into the property into the second bedroom and crashed. And the guests, they were so freaked out, they booked it. Well, come to find out, it's just a long story, but come to find out, people were breaking in to hook up in my property. One neighbor was having an affair with the other neighbor across the street. And when they thought my house was vacant, they were breaking in the back door.
oh my Lord.
Can't make that up. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I was like, I'm going back to my regular rental leases, my portfolio purchases,
Gotcha.
It was a lot of work, but I didn't do it right. I know a lot of investors, they make great money at Airbnb, but do what you're good at. I'm not good at that. Yeah.
CC4. Oh, Daniel wants to know, how does he find people that will offer owner financing, such as the likes of the investor that you met, Laura?
Yeah. Well, I think calling property managers is really great option because, who would know better? People that are managing portfolios, they might know people that are liquidating, all the time. Because a lot of times they get the property manager to list it and they get sales commission. So how great if the property manager knows one person that would buy the whole package, they're more likely to do it and get the commission. So I think that is a really good source. But I think you should just be doing it to all sellers, all direct sellers, like even through an agent. My agents are really great because they're investors as well. So when I ask, hey, let's offer them owner financing as well, they don't have a problem just asking for it. And then if we get if there's any interest, then we can work out the terms. But you might as well throw out the question, do you think they're interested in owner financing as well? And if so, we can pay you more. How great.
Wow, that is cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. CC4, hey, how do we structure a deal if I want to buy on a lease option? That's what we did. That's what we did with Lori. We did an investor. I'm calling it an investor lease option.
I like it.
How do we structure the deal if I want to buy on a lease option, do the repairs, then sell to a retail buyer? How would I approach the seller with this idea? How would they approach the seller? What you thinking, Lori?
Yeah, so if you're asking for a lease option, I would be open with them. I'd like to lease the property and make some repairs. I might decide to rent it out. I might decide to sell it later. But, would you be willing to give me, 2 years as a lease? You're going to lease it to somebody else. Maybe you're calling properties that are on the market for rent already. That's how we found you. You were on Craigslist rental. And so, just start calling a bunch of them and say, I think you were charging $650 anyway. So we said, hey, Chris, if you're going to rent it for $650, would you rent it to us for $650 for a year? And you said, sure. Got $3,000? You said, sure. So, we had the down payment. And I think, regular landlords, they're going to be happy because if the property needs repair, like in our situation, you knew the house needed a lot of work. So instead of you having to do it, how great, we have a fixed price where you're going to make money, you're going to make your lease fee. And I think at the time you said, well, at least want to make 6 months of interest or 6 months of a lease payments. And I said, sure, it's going to take me at least that to fix it up. So we're good. So win-win. And, I think just asking, just ask everybody. If it's already rent, that's easy. Hey, would you like it to rent to me, but have the option to sell it down the road and, work out a fixed price. And if the house needs a lot of work, they're probably excited to have the end goal, you buying it or you reselling. So, you might say the end goal is me buying it, but maybe that'll change. Maybe you'll want to relist it. And that's okay because normally the lease option will give you the option to rent, sell, or buy yourself. As long as they're getting their price, they really don't care what your end result is. Yeah.
So do you have a one-liner that you can drop on our viewers for how you set up owner financing, maybe, Laura? Because some people, they're not going to know what the hell owner financing is, no doubt.
Yeah. So it really is just a lien against the property in the seller's name. I mean, it's just if you're buying it for $100 and they say, we'll give you a lien, we'll put a lien on the property for $100. Normally what they want a little bit down, but that's all it is. They're just recording a note on the property and you're paying them monthly or sometimes, just depends on how you structure it. But I pay my
might be monthly. It might be quarterly.
Yeah.
Payments.
Yearly. It could really be anything you want. But normally it's at a fixed price, purchase price, and a fixed, lease fee.
Yep. CC4064, he wants to know, CC, if you need the lease option documents, I'll put the link to my lease option documents in the video description. I keep forgetting to put that stuff in there. He wants to know, could you refinance me and then sell it to a tenant buyer?
Can I refinance him?
He's talking about me.
Oh, could I refinance you? Like, could I, with the bank, so I don't own the property, so I couldn't refi him. I could.
Well, you would pay. I think he's saying you would pay me off, and then you find your own tenant buyer to move in for your property. Is that something that he wants to know? Are you doing lease options too on the sale?
I did it with a contractor, but I'm not doing a lot of lease purchases. I've done maybe 3 since I've invested.
You don't like them?
Well, it's not that I don't like them. I've had success in all of them, even though one didn't work out or they didn't buy it. I really should start doing that.
I would. I mean,
I really, yeah. So I could technically, pay off, the 55, pay you off, and then, find somebody that would want to put money down, split that money, with my brother, pay him for his time there, and then they would just be paying me every month. So I could definitely do that. Yeah. It's a
CC
great idea.
64. Yeah, good question. Good question. That's all we do, at least not all, but we do a bunch of those. Landlord 84. What about bankruptcy? I don't know. I need you to be a little more specific with your question, my brother or sister. I don't know. Class Q&A time. Q&A time. Clay Burks with Lori Eubanks. Q&A. What's good? Do you recommend a certain percentage when you're to stay within when you're paying interest, Lord?
Percentage to pay the seller.
Yeah, he said you recommend a certain percentage rate when you're doing creating this.
I'm doing 6 to 7% interest payments monthly, and people are generally happy with that because I mean they're going to make maybe 1% at the bank, and
Maybe.
that maybe if they're lucky, maybe more than that, but it's not going to be over 2%. So when they're thinking, I know this property already, I can make 7% on my money on 100 grand or however much it is. I mean, they're usually pretty happy about it. But there's a lot of advantages going seller financing versus lease option, where the seller financing, you're getting all the tax advantages, you're getting depreciation. So if you're going long term, I would rather go seller financing.
Yeah.
But like me and you, I kind of knew, the deal we did together, I thought, well, I'm going to flip it, so I might as well just not even buy it.
Yeah. Saves a lot of money.
Yeah, it saves money.
Evan M076. Good gracious. Evan M076. They want to know where can they get started. Apparently they have three. I don't know if it's he or she.
Mhm.
3 boys. That's a good question. Where
Yeah.
can they start?
Well, everyone starts somewhere differently. For
Yeah.
me, I thought it was going to be a flip that turned into a rental. For some, they wholesale. So it really just depends, like, what are your tools? But really, it starts with finding the deal, no matter what you're going to do with it, finding the deal. So I would just say start going to RIA meetings, start going to local investor meetings, start getting the word out there that you're buying and then start making offers. If you find the deal, you're going to find the money, or maybe you don't even have to find the money. Maybe you just find the deal and get seller financing. So, don't make it so complicated. Just start with finding the deal.
Now, are you using more wholesalers? I know you got Ryan. I mean, dude is like a sharp as a tack, but are you doing marketing and looking for sellers and all that crap too?
No, so I don't do any marketing, and that's the
Wow.
cool thing. No marketing, so I'm getting wholesaler leads. I'm getting on market stuff from agents. I'm getting foreclosures, and
Nice.
had a lot of success down your way. I have 2 agents right now. They're killing it. They're working together, and they make $4,000 flat fee on every deal we do, and they're just like a machine. I mean. We started doing it in July, and they're actually going there, touring the property, doing the estimating the rehab, for rental or for flip. They're really breaking it down, and they're
Wow.
taking videos. So we're making offers every day in that area on foreclosures and vacant properties. And from July to the end of the year, we closed over 20 deals just on that
Unbelievable.
automated.
Yeah, I heard you.
I mean, it was kind of amazing. So, and those agents are just killing it. They're getting leads on short sales, and so their deal flow has turned into my deal flow. How amazing! And so, it's just been great. So we've just had a lot of volume coming from down there, just from those 2
Nice.
agents working together. So one agent does the legwork, and the other agent, it used to be Ryan, was the other agent, does all the contract work. So they're putting the offers, they're doing the contracts, they're negotiating it out. So those 2 agents are working together, and they're splitting $4,000 flat fee on all deals, unless we
Nice.
pay over 130,000, because then the seller pays more than the
Yeah.
$4,000 flat fee. Yeah, so that's just one part of deal flow, but I got 20 deals just from those 2 agents generating
Wow.
deal flow. I mean, how
Unbelievable.
amazing!
That is.
They're making
Holy cow.
everybody's really happy. Yeah, so one side, and then wholesalers are great. You're good to people on the back end. If you're letting the agent, sell the property that found you the deal, which I feel like you should do. You should give the option on the back end. I mean, they're going to bring you more deals. So, that have brought me, 5 or 6 properties, last year. I mean, that's a good volume if you're thinking one agent. Well, if you have, 5 or 6 good relationships like that, I mean, that could be deal flow just that by itself.
Wow.
And then of course, property managers. So that's the other huge thing. You get one good, portfolio. I mean, that could be your one deal for the year.
Wow. Wow. Okay, Mom Girl 22, she says she's glad she's listening to this. Your background, Lori, is kind of just like hers. She's in Richmond also.
Oh, it's awesome. We should connect. And that's another thing, get with your local people and really start, asking them questions to help you grow.
So if there's somebody wanted to reach out, did they just go to Lori Banks at Lori Eubanks on Facebook? They can send you a private message or Snapchat or
Yeah. Yeah, they could find me on all of that. I try to go to my local groups. Sometimes they're in the evenings, and I got 4 kids, so I don't always make it, even though
yeah.
I'd love to. But if you can catch me during the day, before
Nice.
bus pickup, that's best time.
All right, I'm gonna get you out of here. Landlord 84, do you think it's good to invest out of state? He's from Cali, and is it hard to get a loan out of state? I don't. That's above me, Lori. I don't know.
I think if you have private money, it always works. But if you don't have boots on the ground, that's a gap. So you really need to start meeting people locally if you want to go to that area, I feel like. I don't think you can really invest in California because it's probably so expensive. I'm sure that's why he's looking at other areas. I
Yeah.
think if he finds somebody, that he can invest with in another market, maybe that's an option. But I've never gone outside, gone just an hour and a half away. I'm not jumping to other states. I just think there's a lot of liability there.
Well, Lori, what my viewers
But he
don't know is, go ahead.
might be forced to because of the market. I think it's
Oh
like
yeah,
$1
yeah,
million more to buy.
yeah. Affordable housing is like 500,000 out there, but I don't think people. Well, Lori, I don't know. A lot of my viewers may not know that Richmond is a straight shot. It's almost like I feel like we should have a commuter going back. It is a little far, but it's one artery to get right here.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And then we're not far from DC. So I'm actually seeing a lot of people relocate. Most of my buyers are coming from up north, coming down.
Really?
So it's interesting. And I think it's because, they changed the rules, the tax rules. You can't deduct over a certain amount of mortgage
Yeah.
interest. Like, well,
Yeah.
I'll just move an hour away and pay a fraction for the same house down in Richmond. So I think that's brought a lot of movement.
Evan M. I don't know, he, she. Okay, he went to the Robin Thomas seminar. Very good, very good. She wants to know if you got any time management with homeschooling. I don't know about homeschooling. We don't do homeschooling.
No, I'm not that good. I don't think I could probably figure it out, but yeah, that's above my pay grade.
TB Sweetie, question. Do you question with no regular job now? How does she pay off properties that she owns or finances?
Yeah, so I'm getting rent coming in. So like if it's $1,200 in rent, my mortgage is $700. Then I'm paying taxes and insurance, and so you want to make sure that you have enough margin. And so my minimum is $300 a month cash flow per
Gotcha.
door. Yeah.
Same lady wants to know: are you using traditional banks too still now that you don't have a regular W-2 income?
I am. So now that I've gotten my portfolio together, the banks are giving me loans,
They
commercial
like
loans.
you now. They like you.
Like me, they see that I have a track record and I'm making cash flow, and so I've proven my now I get bank loans. I don't use them to purchase properties because a lot of times I need to work on them
Yeah.
first. I use private money to buy, and if I'm going to keep it as a rental, I've been refinancing my private people out. I would love to start with the right private person, but most private lenders have wanted to go like a year,
Gotcha.
usually a year less. So
Yeah.
I've been refining to the bank at like 5% loans.
Nice.
Even better cash flow with that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is nice. Hold it. WNLB wants to see the picture of Lori's property before and after. I don't know how. Do you have time, Lori? How's your time looking? I don't want to hold you up.
It's 3:11 now. I am actually heading down your way for my
Okay,
last appraisal. So I'm gonna probably have to run in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Um,
I'll
but
do that. Huh?
I know that I have the Zillow, all the
I'll do
pictures.
that when you leave. I'll stay online here and I'll do the before and after when you're gone.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty bad off when we got it.
Well, when you got it, it was better. It was anyway. Yeah, it was. When I got it, it was bad. But we cleaned it up.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see how you don't ever think people can live in that condition, but you'd really be surprised.
You'd be surprised. A
Hmm.
luxury car store. You heard about some Airbnb with a sex dungeon. I don't know about that one. Everett Smith, with lease option transactions, how are you going to change over the title when you sell it? Good question.
And transactions. Okay, so you can file and cloud the title while you're under lease purchase to prevent any kind of refinance or them selling it from under you. So you can definitely cloud title with your contract. So you can protect yourself in that way. But as long as you have the right paperwork saying that you can, you have the right to sell or buy or rent, you're covered. As long as you're recording and, we did title work to make sure, he didn't have like a $500,000 loan on the property. You want to make sure that you're scoping out the deal just like you would if you were buying it.
So, who asked that question? That was Everett. So when Laura goes to closing, we will show up to sign because we're on title,
Yeah.
and then we'll cut her a check on the HUD. Well, the title company will cut her a check right on the HUD.
Mm-hmm.
Ivory, I see that question. That's a little. See if I got anything now. That's a little quickly I can get here. Williams wants to know if someone has a loan on the property, Lori, can they still offer owner seller financing?
They can. So I know you can do, lease sandwich option. I mean, you could really get creative or do subject to. So I mean, there's so many names for it. It really depends on how you're structuring the deal.
Yeah,
But you can do that.
that's right. And if the seller, oh, Williams, that's subject to. Lori's not. Yeah, well, subject to. She wants to know about if the seller files bankruptcy on subject to. You're done. That's why we have a
Not
document so they won't file bankruptcy. Nate wants to know, well, I don't think it's that easy. What question, if you want to give him one, what question can he ask the seller to ease them into doing seller financing, Lori?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever try to like force it upon them. I
Yeah, you
kind of
can't
leave
do
them.
that.
You gotta just plant the seed. I mean, if it's a hard no, you don't want to try to force it. It's not going to work. And then it might not be the right relationship. You want to have somebody that's open to it. So, I mean, I just plant the seed. Like, have you ever thought about, owner financing your property and making interest on the sale versus, selling it outright and paying taxes on that sale? What are you going to use the money for? So,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
it's really just asking, what's motivating them selling. It's not going to be right on every deal, but if you throw it out with every offer, you're bound to catch one.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Last question, Lori, you're going. Robel wants to know, do you have any multifamily deals or large apartment complexes, Lori? Do you do
I
that stuff?
No, I don't. And it's not that I'm opposed to it. I would love to get one building and work it that way. But, for me, I'm 34. I have a portfolio. If I just want to sell one a year, I have that flexibility. If I had just one apartment building, I couldn't really do that. So for me, I just like having the flexibility. I do see a lot of value in going towards the apartment deals, and maybe I'll get there. For right now, it's just kind of the path that I've gone down because of the opportunities. But yeah, if an apartment deal came up, I would certainly jump on it if the numbers
That's
worked. But I definitely like having the flexibility. It feels good to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll just sell one a year.
That is wow.
You know, however many years. Yeah.
I think the thing about it is, well, I think I hear in your mind cash flow, cash
Cash
flow.
flow.
Yeah.
That's right. You don't really want to liquidate, but sometimes you might want something, maybe you need an influx of cash. It's just great to have that lever to pull.
For in our deal, I'm like, I'm glad I'm glad that well, I bought it before, but it's been a year now, so my capital gains are gonna go down. You don't even have capital gains on this thing. You know? So, all right, Lori. fi- Final thought for people getting started in real estate. What final thought you can give us for new people or people that are struggling to get their next deal?
Oh, I would just say, just keep trying, just ask, just make a phone call, just call property managers, call people, listen, just get it out there, and then they'll start chasing you. Once you get the word out, driving.
I heard you say you make a lot of offers, and I know I had a client tell me I made 4 offers last week. I'm like, dude, we make 4 offers in a few hours. It's like making a lot of offers. I'm hearing you say that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's good because, they might not always work out, and, keep a spreadsheet, check on them. I can't tell you how many deals we closed in December from offers we did in like September.
That's
So,
right.
really follow up is the best F word.
All right. All right, Lori, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad we did it.
Was that hard? So you didn't even die.
It wasn't hard. It was not hard.
You
Thank you.
lived.
I always enjoy talking real estate, so I should have known it would have been fine.
I'm gonna get us some more questions here, and I'm gonna show the before and after pictures. I don't want to hold you up.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll keep you posted on our deal.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, talk soon. Peace.
Thanks. Bye.
Class, that was nice, wasn't it? For Lori to finally give in to my, I don't know, probably 12 requests that I asked her to come hang out with me on my live. Am I that bad of a guy that peeps don't want to hang out with your boy online? Nah, I'm just kidding. But not everybody wants to put their whole. My thing is this: I can see where things are going, just our economy in general. Transparency wins, in my opinion. Transparency and legacy. I do all this crap so when my daughters and future generations get older, they can click on Grandpa Haskins and be like, look what Grandpa Haskins was doing. Bam, you got 1,000 videos of me interacting with tenants, buying and selling, building houses, negotiating with sellers. My legacy is set up. Can you just imagine how that makes me feel that I can literally create a blueprint throughout the universe where my family can just click a button and watch my life and follow it and create generational wealth. That's kind of one of the reasons I do this too, my selfish reason for doing this. So real quick, I'm gonna get if you have some more questions, go ahead and crank them in there. But I'm going to, if you need documents, I'll put my email in here. You better have your docs right, your tools. I'm gonna show you the before and after pictures of Lori's house. It was super nasty. Good Lord. She did a phenomenal job renovating this thing. Let me see if I can find it here. So Lori, I just to rewind, if you're just joining us, investor lease options. I bought it. I was looking for, matter of fact, I had already sold it one time to another to a owner op, and they tore it up. They just dogged it out. So I'm gonna show you what the house looked like before when I bought it. Then I'll show you what it looks like when she started doing it, when Lori picked it up. I might be able to even show you a video. I can show it here. See if I can find it. So I'm going to show you before and afters of a lease option, investor lease option. You don't have to just stick to owner occupant lease options class. You can do investor lease options too. So I want to make sure you can see it here. So this is what the house looked like. The ceiling was falling in. The guy lived there. It's all tore up. But this is how it looked when I bought it. A lot of damage, roofs all messed up. That's the exterior in the front. The guy was living there just terrible. So I cleaned it out one time. I had to clean it out twice because I sold it to the owner occupants. You can see this tub here is just rusted out. This whole bathroom just had to go. And people were living in it like that. Blue walls, that's that back room. That's when I cut the backyard. We cleaned it out. That's all that crap that the guy left when I bought the house. He just left it full of stuff. So we cleaned it all out there. Now let's show you. Oh, that's when okay. Now I'll fast forward and show you how it looks when Lori got it. And that's when I actually met Lori last year. We did the deal. She ripped out that bathroom. You can see down there, she had to put new plumbing down in there. Don't forget, this is her. She's the investor. I'm just the finance guy on this one. So she cleaned out that back room, started doing all the sheetrock. Plumbing was all. That's the new kitchen there. You can see she really did a good job with that. That's that back room there where the ceiling was falling in. Did a phenomenal job. Put central heating and air in there. She just did a wonderful job. That's the old pictures. Thought I had a. Well, you get to you can get the feel for what it looked like. But that is it, class. That's what she did a phenomenal job. And for me, it was like Mongo 22. Okay, yeah, I'll get to, if I make sure I'll email you the docs today, the link for the docs. If you would be so kind, email me again. That way it's fresh on my mind. What's up, Chris? So you can see, I was saying for me, I bought it, I forget 30 something thousand. We sold it to her for 50 something. I can't remember the exact numbers. But I didn't really mind not making a home run. Like at this stage in my life, I don't need to do home runs on every deal. We got enough deals working. We got some base hits, doubles, triples. So Lori, she's going to make money on the back end because she got it from me. So she's the manpower doing all the work, right? She pays me a monthly payment because I did the lease option. So I sold it to her. We have a lease with Lori. She pays rent. And we have an option, which gives her the right to buy from me, but she can sell her option too. So at closing, she has it listed on the MLS. I might be able to find it. Let me see if I can. Let me look real fast to see if it's on the MLS. I mean, on the internet, class. Sorry about that. I don't want to make sure I give you maximum value today. Walnut Street. Let me give you some maximum value. Hopefully, I can give you some better pictures here. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. So she has this virtual staging. This is nice, class. Thank you for staying tuned. Let me show you what's going on. So Lori, remember she was talking about virtual staging? And you can't learn this stuff in a book. You gotta taste this stuff. Expand. Okay, so there we go. There's the house there. Oh, she needs to take, oh man, you gotta get rid of that picture, Lori. You see she put new windows in. She got virtual staging. It's very nice. Look at that. So that's the kitchen. Remember our kitchen? That's that back room. That's one of the bedrooms with the virtual staging in there. That's the new bathroom, which I didn't get a picture of that, but very nice mirror there. Flooring, all new flooring, new base. That's that backyard. Remember I showed you earlier, the backyard. Oh, the backyard comes with a shed. Okay, now that looks unbelievable. Remember that how it looked before. She really did a thing on that. New roof, black roof, new landscape. Oh man. Good job, Lori. Very good job. That's the living room. Remember how grimy it looked? Went from old busted to new sexy. Old busted to new sexy. It's really amazing how this thing works. So everybody wins, right? That's why I love real estate. When the buyer and the seller work together in real estate, you got magic. See, the problem, in my opinion, the problem is when you get people, and I know there are some great realtors, we work with realtors and brokers, but some of them try to muddy it up to get as much money out of sellers and buyers as possible, when sometimes it may not be the best situation for the buyer or the seller. So when the buyer and the seller work together, magic happens. Magic happens. Maquelo, is that Machuelo? I think it's Maquelo. I don't Maquelo. I can't pronounce your name. Can I have the subject to deal with a property that the owner got foreclosed on, but the bank doesn't want the house anymore? You cannot do subject to Machuelo or Maquelo. I don't know. You can't do subject to once the bank forecloses. There is no subject to. Remember, we buy the house subject to the existing financing. Once the bank takes it back, you're done. You got to deal with the bank or the new realtor. Beezer, what's the right opportunity to introduce for owner financing deal to a seller? We have a line that I like to use, Beezer. I'm glad you asked that. If I'm buying owner financing, which I have done, I do, either it's financing the whole house or I've had sellers finance a portion of it. So we give them, I remember one I did, I gave them 99 and then they financed the other portion, I think it was 13,000. So I wouldn't have to bring a down payment. I told the seller, I learned this from Greg Penny, you can go research it. This seller, I'm going to get a loan to buy this property, but the bank is going to make me bring a down payment. Now, I would much rather borrow that money from you based on a lien against the property that you already know and love. So let me repeat that, Mr. Seller. Repeat that. Get your pens out, class. I'm going to get a loan to buy this house for 95 or whatever, 100,000, but the bank is going to make me put down 10%. So I'm just curious if you let me just borrow that 10% from you. You don't have to come out with any money, and I'll pay you every month for that 10%. And you already know the house because you already know and love this house. I just make you the payments until I sell it. So I still have loans today that we make owner finance payments to. But I don't have time today. But wait till your boy breaks down substitution of collateral. It's gonna blow your head's gonna explode when you understand how substitution of collateral works. That's where we take the debt and we move the chessboard. Move the chessboard, class. When you talk about being a master, when you learn substitution of collateral, you can take that debt and move it to different properties and still hold onto the money. Literally sell the property and move that debt to another property. You talking about when you're gonna get your financial literacy going up. I can't break that down today, but that is, man, when I think about how powerful it is, when I learned about it, I mean, I just had chills. Just imagine selling your house, moving that debt to another house and keep getting payments. I mean, it's mind blowing. Okay, Mom Girl 22, you sent the request over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll do some quick Q&A. Milton, hey brother, does a trust need a declaration of trust field? Hard money lender is requiring this in Maryland. Declaration of trust. I mean, just write it in there. These trusts, there are very few trust experts in our economy, right? So if the lender wants it, just take the document. If you want mine, type it in there. Like I give trust to people around the country, right? And some states don't want to see a land trust. They want to see a grantor trust. So all you have to do at the top is take land trust off and write grantor trust. It's over. It's not that big of a deal. So yes, you will, if you need the declaration, that is the trust. That is the 9 pages that you put in, shows the trustee, beneficiary, address, payment, and whatever verbiage is in there. Class, thank you, thank you. We are done. Thank you. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel. Oh boy, subscribe to my channel and like the content. Share this stuff and what other strategies you have with owner financing. I always like to leave you with a nugget. I like to leave you with a nugget. I got so many nuggets that I wanted to leave you with. Let me pull up when I have a little notepad that I have here for my little thoughts and ideas. Oh yeah, long-term versus short-term profits. Long-term cash flow versus short-term profits. In my opinion, this is me. Long-term is always best because when you focus on bigger checks quickly, what I have learned when stuff comes quick, it goes quick. Even when I'm flipping the house, like I get a big check, it's gone. Now I've trained myself when I get a large check to sink that into income producing assets, but I didn't have that skill earlier in life. So as Lori, same thing Lori was saying, try to work on figuring out how to get you some long-term cash flow. Cash flow. I wish I would have understood cash flow. I'm gonna give you real fast what cash flow is. Cash flow, class. Good Lord, I hope I can help you with this one. Cash flow. It all boils down to um, our cash flow quadrant. Cash flow. Why it's so important? I wanted to talk to you about long-term income over short-term profits. All right. So don't forget, in our cash flow quadrant, right? Cash flow. The money always, without exception, flows this way. It always flows this way, right? Employees end up buying goods, right? They are what do we call us? Consumers, right? We consume stuff. And who makes consumable products? Business owners and investors. All right. And the good thing about real estate is real estate lives right here in the middle. I know some of you have been watching me, you're like, man, this guy's being very repetitive. I'm being repetitive because sometimes you need to hear things. For me, I had to hear land trust about 19 times before I started using it. And I had to hear this cash flow thing for maybe 8 years before I started understanding it. So I want to make sure I'm drilling it into you. Cash flow. Employee and self-employed, they earn money and then they end up spending it, because they have to buy stuff, trash cans, shoes, beds, sheets, clothing, food. And my wife, well, I'm a baker, so I love buying my baked goods. I gotta get my bake on. Furniture, mirrors, coats. So all that stuff is created by the business owner and investor. Yes, we do have the sharing economy, which is why I love the sharing economy. It turns E's and S's into B and I's, but that's going to take a little longer for you to live on that income. When I say the sharing economy, you make money off what you own, your car, Uber, your house. You can rent out rooms based on Airbnb, and you can rent if you want to rent out clothing. I've seen people rent out. There's another one where you can rent your car out for the whole day. But the sharing economy is here, but I'm not quite sure how viable that is regarding having passive income every month you can live on. I'm sure it could be done. But the cash flow quadrant, all the money is flowing to the business owners, the people that own the assets. All right, long-term income over short-term profits. Class, God bless you. And I'll see you Wednesday with my boy Eddie. And I think I have some other coaching sessions coming tomorrow. And it's crazy. If I can help you with anything, my email will be in the description below. If you need documents, just shoot me an email. I'll take care of you. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for my next, so you'll be notified for all of our live broadcasts. Peace. I love you.